All right, we're on. Annie, hello. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So you're already in Utah,
Yep,
and it's warm.
it is. It is warm.
You ran there in 2019, correct?
Yep.
And you
Yeah,
were
it's like
seven.
in 2018 was my first. Actually, no, I ran age group, but it was like my first big race ever.
Okay.
hmm
In 2019, you were seventh.
yes, I believe so.
I believe so too. And it was hot that day. What's the weather going to be like comparable to 2019?
I think it's hotter this year.
Is it?
I think they've hit like some, at least in the valley. I think they've hit some records. And actually, just today, I was just looking out the window because that fire in Oregon is causing all this smoke buildup here. So
Oh,
like
I
the
heard
air
that.
quality is really bad. And I think it's just gonna get like trapped and get even hotter. So uh, yeah, it's gonna be a doozy.
Being that you live in California, you're used to poor air quality and,
I,
and just fire
I
smoke.
am
So like,
unfortunately.
yeah, all last year you thought was a bad thing, but turns out it was just preparing you for this very moment.
Right.
Cool. So let's look at this map and just kind of go through it, talk about some different ideas and what you see in it versus what it may have been in the past and just what you think overall. So I'm going to pull it up and you can see my cursor on here, right?
Yep.
So one thing that Spartan likes to do, they like to tilt the orient of the map just to make it seem like it's not the same exact like direction that it was in previous years. So this is the same kind of start. They just like changed, they just turned it so it doesn't look exactly the same. So first impression of it, what do you think when you saw like the elevation profile and just like this map in general? What were your thoughts?
It looks it's gonna be brutal, I think. It looks like there's, a big climb to start, which is kind of what I expected. And then you get like a pretty long downhill right after that, and then another climb. So I think it's gonna be comparable to like a Tahoe race where you're gonna get this long descent and then immediately have to go back up again, and um, you see if your legs can hold on.
Because it looks like the super that they're going to run, or actually, no, never mind. I thought I was going to say it was going to be this similar to the past year, but I think where the top of the beast goes is where the top of the super went in 2019. Like, see here, like this, I think this is that switchback section at the very top.
Yeah.
And I think this is the top where it turns to the descent. Like that big long descent that would be all of this piece here. This first descent is new, and it does look pretty long.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting on there. So let's just go from the start. So from the very beginning, it does start uphill, and it's probably pretty similar. I wonder if it has that like little creek crossing, because remember in 2019 it was like kind of parallel the creek, and then you jumped over a little creek. Yeah. So I can't. Can you tell if there is like water there anywhere? I mean, there's a ton of different stuff here. So
I can't tell, but it looks very similar. So.
It's almost identical. I did pull up 2019, and it's like about the same all the way up until like through monkey bars, where is the fourth obstacle here. So it's just walls, monkey bars. So the monkey bars are this early. Does that? I mean, it's about a mile in. Does that change anything for you? Like, what do you think do you need to get position or do you even worry about it?
No, I mean, it might break us up a little bit, having it early, but I think this is such a long race with so much going on that like having an obstacle like that early on isn't even gonna change really anything.
Yeah, so like jockeying for position and worrying about it too much, you're probably right. It's not really going to matter too much at all. And I think then it looks like it comes. No, it looks like it's still kind of going up until inverted wall, no big deal, and barbed wire, which is also pretty early. So I think like what the difference is in the super, I think it kind of went this way and then headed out over this direction. So I think this whole part's new. going this way. So I remember the barbed wire being pretty nasty in 2019. I don't know if I was just tired at that point, but it was pretty early and it was uphill.
It was uphill, yeah, through the tall grass, yeah.
Yeah, it was that tall, thick, hard grass. So it might be similar to that here.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then vertical cargo, which will have the shelf then.
Yeah.
Do you have any problems with that?
Not usually. If it's hard to tell, but like it could be on an uphill, which I think will like add a little bit of a challenge to it.
And it was like that last time. I remember it was like up that. This might actually be.
Oh yeah.
It might actually be the exact same here, and it may have cut. There's a lot of trails back here, so it's hard to tell exactly what is what from the last time we were here. But I remember that was part of the sprint too, and I think that kind of came up this way and then kind of cut back down for the sprint.
Yeah, that was like the top of the sprint, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So it might be that exact same part. So how do you get through that vertical cargo table?
I do it like the typical way of like just kind of muscling up it.
Like, do you try to get your hands flat, or do you or do you do like forearms?
Oh, I use my hands. Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean,
it's been a while.
It's and going uphill. Like, I've spilled on this thing. Have you ever missed it?
Yes, but only when it was. I think it was like icy or something.
Oh.
It was like slick. Yeah.
Yeah, there was in Seattle 2019, it was pouring rain, super wet. And I just like tried to make a running jump at it and like didn't quite make it. My legs swung underneath and just like fell flat on my back. So I would walk up to this or at least take a couple steps. Is that what you do? Will you run or will you stop?
I'll probably like, I won't run it at full speed, I'd imagine. It is like pretty, that material, whatever it is that they use, is like super slick. So if you don't like, get a good grip, or if it's wet, like I get what you mean. You could just slide right off.
On the other side, I think it was Nicole. I did see one time she like slid on it like a seal, like, and was able to kind of grab it and like swung herself up. I was like, oh, that's one way. So then that puts us at vertical cargo is 7. So then I think we keep going up.
7-foot wall. Yep.
7-foot wall, and
going
then
up, which
going up
will be a challenge, I think.
It will be, right? And then Olympus as well, and that might also be pitched up.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Well, but the one thing that's nice about to keep in mind about this course is that it's probably gonna be dry, right?
For sure.
Just drier conditions. How do you think you're going to do Olympus here?
Not on my knees.
Yes, yeah, that's for sure.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah. Well, are you doing the races on Sunday?
TBD. I don't know.
Yeah.
I in the past, a course like this tends to really tear up my legs, so we'll see.
Yeah, with this much descent. Yeah. So not on knees. So will you try to do chains in the ball? Try to get your feet up and do the chains then, or will you still try to?
Oh yeah, I'm going chains.
Yeah, and chains are easier when it's dry.
Yeah, for
sure. But that puts it right at about 2 miles, and then we're turning and going back down. This looks like it's all downhill. Looks like this looks like switchbacks, right? Can you tell?
I think you're right.
This could potentially be switchbacks because this is a full mile. This looks like a 1.5 miles of descent.
Yeah.
In a race that's this long, what do you think about attacking something like this? How would you approach this, like a 1.5 miles downhill before, what's 10? Before another wall, and then it just shoots you right back up. What do you think about this part?
Well, my old self would probably be super conservative on that, knowing I have to go back up again. And I don't know if I'm going to take that all out, just like, because it's still pretty early in the race where like it'd be worse to blow up going up again or like cramp. So I don't know. I think it's like one of those things where I have to see what the terrain is like and see where I am like in the pack, and kind of make a game time decision on like how aggressive I want to be on that.
It is just so early.
Yeah.
It's just really early. Would you say your strength is on the ascent or the descent?
I would say I'm probably a better climber, at least when it comes to more like sustained, like runnable climbing. When it gets super steep, like a Big Bear, I struggle a little bit because I think I try to like run too much and then I kind of blow up, which I'm starting to learn like what grade is better to hike versus run. But it's a learning process.
Yeah, you think there's just like your body would tell you, but I've done that. I've pushed through a steeper part where I definitely shouldn't have. And Big Bear, I think, is one that just would kill everyone. I would hope anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on this. This is like, I don't know, because there's such a long climb after.
Yeah.
I think it would just depend if like, unless you are really strong on the descents, then like this course, it's like, that's, I guess would be some place where you could take advantage of, but it's just really early.
Yeah. I think just thinking about it, I probably am just going to try and like keep my spot wherever I am at that point. Like maybe just try not to lose any spots, but at the same time, like think about the climb ahead and like conserving a little bit of energy for that. And then try and like make up time on that.
Yeah. From what I remember, there was maybe one or two pretty technical parts on the descent.
Yep.
That were like really like loose rocks at one point that was like pretty steep and pretty scary.
Yeah.
But there's also parts that were pretty runnable.
Yep.
You know, I mean, this looks fairly gradual from like the elevation profile. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks more gradual than the climb.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be windy, but like not super like, I don't think it's going to be like straight down like a Black Diamond ski hill.
I think it'll be like Tahoe's big descent. I mean, it's not gonna be as long as that one, right?
I think so. Yeah, because looking at like these little arrows, it looks like we're going back and forth quite a bit.
This looks like fun.
Yeah,
I like this type of descent. Yeah, the steep Black Diamond ones are a little bit too scary for me, but these ones I can wrap my head around.
Yeah.
So after this 8-foot wall, you know, you come to the 4th mile again. We're pretty early. How are you gonna go after? Like, where are you in terms of your energy, like conservation, or like trying to push out here? Because this is the last. Like, I mean, it's a massive climb. It looks like it's going to be almost
2.5 miles.
2.5 miles. Yeah. So half mile, 1, 2. Where's mile 6? This is mismarked.
This is 6. I think it looks like.
Oh, that's 6. Oh, you're right. So it's 5. Oh, there's 5. It's purple. Okay. So 1. Okay. Yeah. This is a 3-mile climb then, right?
Yeah. That's. I mean, part of that kind of excites me because it's like, I don't know. I think that kind of plays to my strength, but yeah, it's going to be a grind for sure. And like, we're at altitude, which like for most of us is going to add like another element of, you know, whatever. So I don't know.
What's the peak there? Like how high is it getting? I can't see online.
I can't see that either. I was trying to make that out.
But it's going to be high. I remember when I was like, on the descent in 2019, I could feel where I could breathe better. Like coming down, I was like, oh, okay. Like, and at the top, it was like, my head was like spinning. Like,
I bet it's like, it probably gets above 8. I'd imagine just thinking about like where it starts.
Right. Right. And if we're getting about 5,000, right under 5,000, that's probably right.
Yeah. I want to say that the summit is like well above 9,000. So It's like a Tahoe. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. This is a really, really long climb.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
With like very little obstacles, but they're like significant. Like it's actually no, it's Tyro hurdle. Yeah. I guess Tyro for some reason always makes me nervous because I get like calf cramps really easily.
Oh really? That'll get you? I mean it's early enough, hopefully, that you won't be at that point.
Yeah, I'd rather have it early. That and rope climb are like the two where I tend to cramp.
Have you ever thought about getting on top of the rope for Tyro?
I haven't. I've seen people do that, but I've never like had a chance to like do it not in a race. So it kind of makes me nervous.
I think there's more room for error in terms of like, I bet once you get up there, it's probably easier, like in terms of conserving energy. So maybe if this was like your first beast distance, and you have time and you just don't want to miss anything and you want to conserve, maybe try to get on top of the thing, but you probably won't get up on it on the first shot.
Right.
And going under, I did my first time I saw Tyro was in 2016, and I still have a massive scar on my leg, huge scar on my leg, just because I just locked my legs and just pulled myself with my hands. I was like, I'm getting through this thing. So don't do that.
Yeah, I can see that happening, especially on the Utah course where it's going to be like hot and dry. And
people are going to be ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that. That comes out to 5. And it still goes up. It's like, doesn't make sense.
I know, it looks like that should be like a descent at that point. But it does,
but it's like a switchback back up. And then after mile 5, these are all switchbacks this part in here. Do you remember that part? Like kind of running back and forth?
That was that nice running part from what I remember.
And it's beautiful up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, I was like upset that I was racing.
I know. I ran that the day before the race in 2019, and I got to enjoy it. And go slow, which was awesome. So
yeah, I wish. Because it's not as enjoyable. Because when you're up there just like dying, I was like hating it.
Yeah.
And then 13's Irish tables. Do you have any trouble with those?
If I'm thinking of what it is, I don't think so, but I don't really remember what it is.
It's kind of like the platform again. Like it's about it might be even the height of the platform to get up onto the vertical cargo, but they're like hurdles, but just like a little wider, a little taller.
Yeah. I think I want to say, I feel like the only time I've done that one is in West Virginia, which
yeah.
I don't remember having an issue, but
no, it seems like just one that they could kind of get up there.
Yeah.
And then we get armor. Right. So that's like the
armor, the ball, the like stones or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a single arm farmer's walk.
Yeah.
Kind of like with one handle, a big atlas stone with a handle on it.
Yep.
It looks like you get a couple more carries in Ultra Loop, jerry can, farmer's carry, and plate drag.
Does it say on any of these if it's a penalty loop or no?
It doesn't. Let me see. It doesn't say.
Because that is what I want to know.
Yeah. Do you like that better or worse?
I think, I don't know. I think I like it better just because like burpees are so, first of all, I'm not good at them. And second of all, they just take a while.
They take a lot. It can take a lot out of you.
Yeah.
But they don't make them.
I remember though, I don't know if it was Utah or Big Bear. I was actually marking the course and we made the penalty loop straight up this like very steep hill. And I think if that was the case, I don't know what I'd prefer, but
they make them really hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
I did one in the North Carolina, where the same place where the North Carolina race is going to be the Tyrone equestrian place, and they had a penalty loop there that was so muddy and it was really long and really hard. It was really, really hard. It was like such a bummer to be on. So I don't know either. I would think penalty loop, but it's not always.
Yeah.
And then we're screaming down. It looks like we're headed down at mile 8. So do you think the race, I mean, a race this long, how much movement do you think will be from mile 8 until the finish? Like, do you think that the positions will be kind of set, or do you think that last descent is really going to make or break?
Yeah, I do. Because it's almost half the race. Like, time-wise, it will be a lot less, but like, there's a lot of obstacles in the second half. A lot of, like, the carries are both in the second half. Almost all of the grip intensive ones are in the second half. Like, plus you have the descent. So, I think it's like, it's obviously going to be a race to that, top, but like, then it's almost a second race to the bottom.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate if like the climb is where you think you can make the most room. So would you conserve then going up that big climb, the second big climb, just because the second part of this race is so intense with the descent and the obstacle density?
I don't know if like you want to conserve, but I would say like be pacing yourself as to not like blow up, because I've done that before where like I've only done Big Bear once, and in that race I completely blew up in the last mile, and like there was no coming back because I cramped on one side and then the other side cramped, like, and then it was just like this giant gauntlet at the end where I couldn't get up the rope because my legs were cramping. So it's
even like sled drag's hard, like everything's hard then.
Yeah, I think for me it's going to be a lot about just like staying ahead on like hydration and like nutrition, all of that kind of stuff. Like, don't let it slip, especially going up that like 3-mile climb. It's just going to be like pretty fast from there on out. Like,
yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. I think you put that really well. It's like maybe don't race it, but don't don't get caught up in racing somebody. But don't take it easy going up, because the race is definitely on this back end.
I think on that climb, we might find ourselves like spread out where it can be really easy to kind of get in your head and like not stay focused, because like you might not see the person in front of you. And so for me, I'm going to do my best to not let that happen. Like, try and like keep someone in sight. Just because like I think when you're off on your own, it's easy to just be like, okay, I can ease up here, or like
totally
talk yourself into like conserving energy when you really shouldn't be.
Yeah, right. It's like my position is safe. Like, that can be easy to kind of get into. Yeah, because coming down, then we got Bender and Twister, which
and Beater.
It's gonna be and Beater after you run
box. It's like a bunch in a row.
Right in a row, yeah.
And then stairway, which I think I've also only done that stairway once.
With the grips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem in Tahoe because it was like that was also going up a hill and it was so cold that day.
Yeah.
I know a lot of women did have trouble getting that. I think you'll be fine. I think that's going to play to your advantage.
I think so. Yeah.
And just like the dryness here, being that these obstacles will be dry, does that change the way you would do something like Twister?
Twister? No. I think part of this is just like laziness, but like I just do Twister the same way I've always done it, no matter what the conditions are, because I've never had an issue with it.
Do you swing it, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I swing forward and I'll like skip some. So it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily the fastest, but I think that it's the least taxing.
Yeah. If you're skilled enough to move that way and your hand strength is strong enough, we have to turn your palm like away, like that, or do you still kind of overhand grip it? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're swinging.
Yeah, I guess depending like where they are, you might have to. Yeah.
Yeah. Or because that would be less of it'd be a more gentle like twist down if like you had your hand this way. If you have to reach all the way up.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fortunate that you can swing through that. And when it's dry, that's probably the best bet through it. Box. Do you just pull yourself up that rope?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're strong enough to get to like that's the way to do it. Like if you are strong enough to do a straight up pull up over on that rope and then reach the bar, so you don't have to like kind of turn upside down and get your feet up onto it. I have no idea how people do that.
Yeah, I mean, box is definitely one that like I think every time I get through that obstacle, I'm like, oh, that was like harder than I thought it was going to be every time.
So annoying. It's so annoying.
So I'd like to find an easier way, but at the same time, I think some of the other methods just take longer and like aren't worth it. So
yeah, I'm with you. And then it's, so where was I? The 20 beater is after Twister, you go back up. So it looks like that's the last little ascent. That's probably gonna be like more steep than you want it to be at this point in the race. But that's gonna be the last time you go up. So don't forget that, because it's probably gonna feel like, okay, you're home free, and then you're gonna get hit with that one back up. So that's important to keep in mind, because then it is all pretty much down after the box. So you get stairway, pipe layer. We'll talk about pipe layer, and then it's a long. Then you have a little over a mile again, right? Of a descent. After pipe layer.
Pipe layer is 23. Yeah.
And then it looks like this is all down. So here's mile 10.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then it goes down until rope climb. And then sandbag carry. Then you have a little bit more running until bucket. So it looks like maybe about a mile of a descent here. So this is a place you could probably rip it.
Yeah.
Or are you gunning it here? I mean, there's still 2 miles left. And I mean, this last mile is just silly. This like last half mile, it's just like that's nonsensical. But like from here to here, this might be the last ditch effort. Like if you are a fast runner and a fast descender, like, and you need to make up ground, you might just have to like hope that you'll have enough in the tank for sandbag, or that people spent it on this first climb. So coming from here and maybe ripping it down. Will you try to gun this, you think?
Yeah, I think whatever you have left at that point, like I mean, once you're done with that descent, it's just a bunch of obstacles. So take it to your advantage. Like, I mean, yeah, if you have ground to make up, that's the last chance you're going to have. So.
And you know what? This sandbag, even though it's in a completely different part of the race, it might be in the same exact spot, because here's the start. Remember, sandbag was
I don't remember where it was.
It was right away. It was like we did monkey bars, and then it was a big hill, and then an up, and then back down. So that might be the case here.
You're right. I think so.
And it's gonna be in a similar spot.
The bucket is the same too.
Oh, it is.
It looks like it. Yeah.
I think you're right too. Where is that? Yeah, over here. Right, because that was very close to the end, and I don't remember it being anything incredibly hard.
No, it was like a little tiny loop.
Yeah, I was just tired by that point, so it was hard. Then 27. So now it's just insanity. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So you probably want to be pretty established, right? Yeah. After your bucket carry, it's like, okay, I want to be where I want to be. So if there's moves to make, it's on the sandbag or the bucket, because Z-wall, Atlas carry, multi-rig, spear throw, cargo, tire flip. So that's in a different spot. Herc hoist, helix. What the heck?
I know.
Helix being there. That's interesting. Huh. Because helix, even though there is some skill and a little bit of difficulty in it, like it feels more like a pipe layer that's just kind of like a bump in the road and just don't screw it up.
Yeah.
But you might have to race helix here.
Yeah, which I don't feel like we've ever done.
No.
So could be interesting.
Yeah. For someone like you, because you have like the rock climbing, like that's like the helix to me is still kind of like a rock climbing obstacle. Just the awareness to kind of move through it is.
I find it to be like more of a like just don't screw up your feet kind of thing, because like kind of like Z-wall where if either of those are wet, they're significantly harder. But when they're dry, they're pretty easy. It's just like get through it kind of thing.
Yeah, so you might be able to be aggressive on helix because it's gonna be dry and it's gonna like mean something.
It would have been more interesting if they put that after dunk wall.
Oh yeah, totally right. That would have been a good spot for it. Again, the spear here. I wish they would have put the spear at like where this 8-foot wall is or something, or where just like give like this whole race happens, and then like
I hate it.
But maybe it's spread out enough because I mean, if it's early, it gives people time to kind of work their way back through. And in the mix of all these ridiculous obstacles, I mean, like it's like it'll be like exciting. It's like lame, and then like exciting again to kind of work through. So it's really and what is it like? The only benefit of this is like Z-wall will bring your heart rate down. Atlas carry kind of bring your heart rate down. Like by the time you're at multi-rig, you'll probably be pretty fresh for that, and it's dry, and so you'll get to the spear throw maybe not as exhausted or not breathing as heavy, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I find that hard to believe just being at the end of this race.
Yeah, you'll probably be tired either way.
Doesn't matter.
Just trying to find some silver lining here.
I'm hoping it's a penalty loop because I just could see myself easily messing that up.
Did you hit this one in 2019?
I missed it on the super and made opposite. I made it on the super and missed on the sprint.
A lot of people missed this.
What cost me the podium on the
Oh, really?
On the sprint, yeah.
How many people did you pass in the super from it?
I don't think I passed anyone, but
nice.
Kept my position. Yeah.
Because I thought top athletes missed this. A lot of guys, I missed for sure, and a lot of guys on the top 10 missed. Aaron missed. That's right. He was in the top 10. He ended up like 12th.
Yeah.
Because it was uphill.
Yeah, that's what I remember. It was uphill and like awkward.
It was kind of in like it was really like a lot of like divots and I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming it's the same thing.
Yeah, probably. So I mean, like overall, what do you think? Like, what would you say to someone? Like after we went through and reviewed the whole thing, like what would be like your main piece of advice for this?
I would say this is a race where, I mean, at least in my head, I'm thinking there's a lot of different like sections that if you want to like break it up into being that like first big climb, then there's a long descent, and then a massive climb, and then another descent with like an obstacle gauntlet. So you got to think about each person's going to have, their own strength on that course. But like overall, I would say we're going to be out there a while. It's going to be really hot. Pace yourself. Like, I don't think this is the race where you want to like go out super hot and completely blow up and be screwed. Yeah,
you'll be stranded. Yeah,
because it takes a while. Like at least for me at altitude, like if I get my heart rate so high in the beginning, it's like it takes a while to like get it under control. So, I'm gonna try and just relax in the beginning, and then like make my position hopefully by the end of the first climb, and just try and keep it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Just be assertive on the climb, trust your fitness. And then just rip it that last descent after, where was it, the last?
It was like after
23, after pipe layer?
Oh yeah, pipe layer.
So after pipe layer, that's kind of go. That should be like the signal to be like, okay, wherever I got, if you're not in just survival mode then, because there's gonna be plenty of people just in survival mode at this point. If you're not and you got something left, make it happen, because that last gauntlet, like you're probably not gonna have a lot of room to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like for me, I mean, as much of a buffer as I can get going into that, like the better, because
you're gonna nail your spear.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit the guy right in the middle of his like nose. It's gonna be perfect. All right, cool. Well, I think that kind of wraps that up. I think we did a good job of nailing it. This course looks great. This like
I'm excited.
Yeah, the courses have been like so far this year, and they're kind of changing things, and it seems like they've made some kind of easy here and there, and like there's been a lot of flat courses, even like the ones you've been to of like where there are hills around, they still kind of made them flat. They didn't do that here.
Oh no,
sure didn't do that here. So cool. So everybody that's out there, good luck, have fun.
Thank you.
Tear it up.
Thanks.